So it's been a while since I talked about immigration on this channel. I believe it may have been 2 years actually since I actually had a significant had a video talking about that actual issue. But regardless, we're seeing a lot of new headlines about the migrant caravan that's currently stationed in between the Guatemalan and Mexican border. And there's a very good reason for why this is the case because of the year being 2020. Eventually, in upcoming November, we're going to be having a presidential election. And this presidential election will determine whether or not Donald Trump receives his second term and whether or not the American people actually approve of what he's been doing in office, especially in concern with the whole immigration issue. Now, from what I've seen and from the evidence I've gathered, it looks like that he will receive a second term, but that's a different topic entirely. Already, we're seeing major headlines talking about the 2020 caravan, as it is dubbed, which actually originally came from Honduras, and how they intend to cross into the United States. That's their intended target. But already they've been having major difficulties. While they were able to cross into Guatemala, they haven't been so successful with Mexico, which has been very restrictive as of late. Of course, due to the amount of National Guardsmen and policemen who have been stationed in the southern border of Mexico. Now, there have been attempts by the Mexican government in order to maybe compromise with the migrant caravan by allowing some of them in, but in smaller groups. But it just hasn't seemed to be the case. It especially shows with how a lot of the migrants within the caravan have acted today. Today, they tried to storm into Mexico instead of going through the idea of what Mexico wants to do, which is allow small groups in to be registered, to be regulated, and to be documented, to make sure everything is completely fine, no criminal record. They tried to go and storm into Mexico, trying to breach the border. Now, what they did is basically cross the river. Now, at this point, the river which they were on is only a few feet deep. Not too bad. It's actually pretty shallow. They can easily cross there at this point in time at this point in time of the year. But even then, despite making it a little bit into the Mexican border, they were met by National Guardsmen in riot gear. They tried to resist and tried to get past the National Guardsmen, but they would not have it. And this has caused entire rush that they tried to do has been a complete failure as a result. Now many of these migrants still intend to go into the United States. They still intend. That is their major determination. But already we're seeing, with this major rush and the amount of clashes that the migrants and the Mexican authorities have been dealing with, it doesn't seem like it's going to be as easy as it used to be. In fact, it kind of makes sense considering what has been happening for the last 2 years. Ever since 2018, when Trump decided to issue threats of tariffs on Mexico and even the Central American countries, they have been working out an idea in order to deal with the whole migrant issue, the whole refugee crisis, that sort of thing. And they have come to many agreements as a result. Considering that they have the threat of terrorists on their minds, especially since it's from the United States, their major economic partner in this sense, they would not like that, and would continue to try to restrict immigration, with already the major economic threat looming above their heads. That's why that's why Mexico has changed their tubes since 2018. And it really shows too, especially since after the rush and during the time of the caravan being near the Mexican border for the last few days, the Mexican government has specifically said that they will not allow the transition of migrants into their own country illegally, just like that, like they used to be. And it's been showing so far. From 2008, or not 2008, 2018, Mexico has detained thousands of migrants as a result of coming to an agreement with the United States on the migrant issue. It really does show. It has, ironically, Mexico, which many have said that they will not pay for the border wall, in itself has become America's border wall. It's kind of weird, and it's a little bit funny in a weird way. But already we have seen significant results as of late. Not, especially with Donald Trump introducing the "Stay in Mexico" policy in order for asylum seekers to seek claims in court, which so far only about 1% have been eligible to get into the United States. And of course, with the border wall, etc., etc., etc. So far, it's been showing that Mexico's own restrictions on migration through their own country has been affecting the United States. Already 70%. There's already a 70% decrease in detainees across our southern border. That's a significant milestone. And all this happened thanks to the fact that Donald Trump threatened to use economic tariffs against our southern neighbor. Something which I would say was definitely needed. And not just for the United States, but for Mexico and Central American countries. Because Central American countries are losing much of their workforce, and Mexico, despite the fact that many of these migrant caravans and other illegal immigrants are trying to come into the United States, they are having to deal with the issue of drug trafficking and human trafficking and even so many other issues that would be affecting their economy. So I would say that this is a major bonus. Already, we have seen that that the United States has been doing well. Well, not just the United States, Mexico and Central America, as a result of many of these policies. With this current, despite the fact that, like as said before, the migrants want to come into the United States, despite the failed rush attempt, Chad Wolf, the acting head of the Department of Homeland Security, has directly supported, has said that he supports the efforts of Mexico's police and National Guardsmen for what they're doing. He is on board with this, and considering that he's focused on the major issue of defending our southern border, and since Donald Trump himself is also keenly focused on that issue, this only shows that the United States is in support of Mexico's actions. In this way, this is going to help Mexico, and it will help the United States. Because no longer will these migrant caravans will simply come in through Mexico, and into the United States without any difficulty. Already, we're seeing a massive positive outcome as a result of this. Now, is it possible that the migrant caravan may come through to Mexico? Possibly, and the reason why I say that is because the leftist president, I forgot how to pronounce his name again. He is trying to offer the migrants over 4,000 jobs around the southern border, but from what I can tell, the migrants have actually refused this offer, still wanting to go through the country as a result. But so far we have to wait and see at this moment. From what we can tell, Mexico is taking the stand and saying no to the migrant caravan, something that it desperately needs, and something that desperately the United States needs as well. My name's Somi, and all the Arc Truth. Please post your comments down below, like this video, subscribe, and share with your friends. Also, if you have any issues regarding my videos, such as how I frame them, how I speak, or what subjects you want me to cover, or anything else you suggest that I should improve, at all, anything that you want me to improve, please post them down in the comment section down below, or directly message me. Thank you.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain.